on, everybody? Pete here, and we're doing our Tidbit Thursdays today. Obviously, we're doing it a little bit different. We're not doing it live this week. We're actually just putting out a video. So we decided to go ahead and put the videos out every Thursday, since most of you are busy with life. It's probably easier for you just to watch the videos, and of course, we hope that you still continue to comment below, and we will comment back and answer any questions that you may have. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about property management, and specifically on preparing your property for a new tenant, or preparing your property to become a rental. So some of the things that we're going to talk about are basically what the property looks like when it comes to rentals and even sales. Obviously, the aesthetics of a property are very important. Curb appeal is very important, and just being able to show the property in its best light, I guess. So I'm just going to open it up because I just did the intro. So
now we get to cut all the weird parts out, right?
If we had to. But right now, we're just going with it. So,
all right, let's go with it.
Bumpy, since you have your arms crossed like you don't care, let's talk about the property. What's your thoughts on preparing a property for the rental market?
Well, first and foremost, it definitively has to be cleaned from head to toe. Appliances moved out of the way and cleaned underneath and behind, cleaned within the appliances themselves, carpet steam cleaned, walls wiped down, anything and everything to ensure that that property looks and smells clean. Right?
Don't forget the windows and the windowsills.
Windowsills, blinds, dusted down. Just made sure that somebody's feeling that they're stepping into a ready to move in home.
Right. So there's a big difference between doing a cleaning to set up the property for showing, and there's a difference between the cleaning when a tenant actually moves in, right? Mm-hmm. So there is a showing cleaning, which really doesn't include the windowsills at that time unless they are filthy, but we do want to present the property in its best light. So yes, property should be cleaned. Carpets, depending on how the carpets look, may or may not need to be cleaned prior to starting to show the property, but definitely it would be cleaned when we are going to move in a tenant in there, or when you want to put a tenant in there, because you want to be able to make sure that you give that tenant the house in its premier state, I would say, so that way they know that you take care of the house, you care about the house, and in turn, hopefully those tenants would take care of the house while they're in the property, and then when they move out, they will return the property in the same state, hopefully. So, what else?
Well, actually, I'll say as mostly a leasing agent, the quickest way to scare off a good leasing client that for your property is in your MLS form, as you go through, it says property as is. And because you have that, showing cleaning that doesn't include necessarily the windows, the edges, the blinds, all those things, and it says as is, it does sort of give the wrong impression to the client, because they're thinking, oh, this is as is. The hole in the wall is fine. The tape on the window is fine. The blinds covered with nicotine and dust are fine. And if that's what they can expect from their landlord group or the property management company, they're scared, frankly, because it shows a sort of willingness to let that condition be as is, and probably not going to get better for them. That's all.
That's a good point, because most property management companies, including ours, in the lease it does say that you're accepting the property as is. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, we want to be able to provide that property in a nice, clean state. So the property is going to be clean, carpets will be clean, yard is going to be cut, so on and so forth. And most property management companies, I think, would try to do that prior to a tenant moving in. But yeah, that is an important thing, because sometimes when that as is in the lease, means that if the house is not painted when you look at it, it's probably not going to be painted. If there's some minor repairs that, like holes in the walls and stuff like that, that probably is not going to be done unless the owner wants that to be done, right? So that's one thing that, as far as Pompey and I have discussed this when we try to start this property management company, is that we were going to be very selective on our owners, because we want owners that are willing to take care of the property, right? So we're not saying that, you know, you have to paint the property every couple of years, or you know, fix every little thing in the property all the time. But we want to be able to work with the owners that care about the residents or the tenants that are going to be living in the property. And the way to care for those tenants is to take care of those maintenance issues. As property owners, and I do it myself, you know, there's little things around my house that I know need to be done, right? There's some areas that may need to be painted, may need to be cleaned, may need to be fixed. But I live here, so hey, it doesn't bug me, right? I just continue living in here. Some tenants, though, are very picky on stuff, and it does show tenants that are looking at properties. If the property is not well maintained at the beginning, that's probably how the owner is gonna take it. You know, they're not gonna do any real repairs on the property and stuff. So I do see that quite a bit. So
Well, I don't think it's also about being a picky tenant. It's also the type of tenant that you want to attract to your home. Somebody who's
Yep.
going to be okay with things in disarray. That's how they're going to treat your home, most likely.
yeah, you're right. Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, I think that's
I think you covered it.
Wow. Really? Not you, Denise? You're not gonna say nothing?
Nope.
I gotta say, there's things at my home that I'm not happy with, but I can't seem to get fixed.
Well, you better tell your. Never
Weird.
So, yeah. So that's just the clean part. What we're finding in this market is that that a lot of rentals are being put on the market with some updates. So, you know, that's always a plus, a positive, and people love it. So there's just some things that we would recommend owners to consider updating, you know, as you go along. Maybe after every tenant, update a little bit. It just, some updates go a long way in this market.
What updates are they?
So the three most important rooms in a house is always the kitchen, the master bedroom, and the master bathroom. Those seems to be the three big ones.
Plus, there's a range of value in a rental home as far as the low end and the high end. And I think if owners really do want that high dollar, top dollar,
Yes.
they need to do something to make it worth that top dollar and get somebody in there that's going to want to pay that amount, take good care of their property. And I think doing some of those updates really does bring that crowd.
Right.
Yeah, that is important, because I mean, you hit it right on the head as far as an individual taking care of the property. So if they go in there and the property is good to go, they're going to take care of the property. If it looks like it's, you know, not updated, not being maintained, that's how they're going to live in the property. So yeah.
So type of updates what would you guys say for updates?
Well, I would definitely say painting with updated colors of what's going on in the market, what other builds are getting painted throughout the city that you live in. Flooring, carpets are really only good for 8 to 10 years. If you've already had multiple years of living in the property as well as tenants in the property, then that carpet's, it's going to be time for it to go. to consider hardwood flooring or ceramic tile or anything that's going to increase the value of the home and the aesthetics of the home.
So you said paint. So there, paint alone will give a property a nice, clean, fresh look.
It's almost like that new car smell, right?
Yes. It's funny you say that because every time I go into a house and I smell the paint, I'm like, you smell that? I don't get excited about new car smell, but I do get excited about, clean, painted homes. So you want a neutral color for sure, a gray or a beige with the nice white baseboard. It just makes it looks good. What we usually tell our owners is do not get the flat paint. Flat paint, you're going to end up spending more money because flat paint is just good for that one time, 1 year, 2 years.
Semi-gloss is your best friend.
Yes.
Or even a satin finish. 'Cause that way it's not as shiny. I mean, semi-gloss, yes, for the kitchens, bathrooms, things of that nature. Satin finish for like the rooms. But yeah, right now, if you're living in your property and you want to make your property a rental, you may look at your walls and you may think, oh, they look all right. Well, start moving some of the pictures, start moving some of the furniture out, start looking at, especially where like your beds are, or if you have kids, where your kids' beds are. If you move that, you're going to see areas that that really need to be painted. And spot painting is not your friend. Unfortunately, if you do have that same color in a can in your garage and you try to spot paint an area that has not been touched at all within the last year or so, it's not going to match. The paint on the wall has already faded. It's already been discolored because of just normal wear and tear. And if you try to put fresh paint in just little areas around that wall, it's going to start looking like a cheetah. It's going to be very noticeable. So the best thing to do would be to paint. Now, paint lasts. Flat paint, you're right, doesn't last very long. 1 to 2 years maybe, because people always touch the walls, especially kids. Kids are always touching the walls, and you'll never be able to clean that off. Satin or semi-gloss obviously lasts a little bit longer. They're anywhere from 3 to 5 years, and those are easier to clean, to wipe down. But then now you're talking about a person going around trying to wipe walls and stuff like that, which is a lot of work as well. So unless there's like little specific areas, which is around light switches and things of that nature that usually get dirty pretty quick, and those areas can be wiped down, but actually full walls, you're not going to find many people that are going to do that. And if you try to hire a cleaner to do that, they're going to charge you quite a bit too. So, but yes, painting is a big thing. Flooring is a big thing.
Yes.
Carpet, like Pompey said, can last anywhere from 8 to 10 years. Or 8 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, depending on the quality of the carpet, right? The quality of the carpet, if the property has pets, and if it has kids. Believe it or not, kids are worse
Than
in
pets.
a property than pets are. So, they spill things, they do things, love kids, but, it is what it is. But carpets, 8 to 10 years. What's that?
I was saying, explains the carpet in our bedroom. It's our kids.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, well, my cat didn't put wax into my carpet.
Yeah.
That's all
Don't
I'm
blame it
gonna
on the
say.
cat. But anyway, yeah, so 8 to 10 years on carpet. And I know that a lot of individuals that try to put their house on the market have probably lived in the house already for 3, 4, maybe 5 years, and then put it on the rental market. Just know that probably after 2, 3 tenants, maybe 2 tenants, you're probably going to have to look into replacing that carpet, because it's going to have that life expectancy. And everything in your property has a life expectancy. Now, if you're living, like I said before, if you're living in the property, you can extend that life expectancy as much as you want. You can live in your house and your carpet looks, like it's been worn for a while, and it could be in there for like 15, 20 years if you want it. But most of the times when it comes to rentals and trying to put people in there to live in the house, you're gonna have to do those updates. So.
Yeah. And so, real quick, some quick other updates, because I see that we're hitting 15 minutes. In just real quick, in the kitchen, doesn't necessarily need to be stone. They have some really nice counters now that are laminate upgrades that you can put that makes that they do look like stone, but they're not. I've seen that in properties and they look really nice. Just make sure that your sink looks good. Black and stainless steel appliances people get excited about, because white, I don't know what it is about white appliances. It's just it's okay if it's new, but if you have an older home and it looks like an older appliance, people don't like that. And then what people get excited a lot too is in the kitchen, if you have a breakfast bar, and just putting lights above the breakfast bar. For whatever reason, people love that. And then just in the and then throughout the house, in the master bedroom, if you're just trying to do something small to just kind of make your property look a little nicer, really nice ceiling fans, and crown molding, and then of course flooring. So these are just little areas that if you're just trying to do little upgrades, these are the areas that I would recommend. That's what people get excited about when I show homes.
And we get it. It's a rental property. You probably don't want to spend as much money, right? So we're not saying that you got to go in there and spend high dollars on appliances and flooring, but don't go with the cheap stuff either, because you want to, I guess, prepare the home or make the home and attract those individuals that want to live there, right? And if they want to live there and they see it, and I keep saying this, well maintained, and looks like you as the owner are putting some money into the property, then they'll take care of the property. It all boils down to a quality tenant, right? If you can get that quality tenant to move in and they're probably going to stay longer, even better, that's what you want. So you may have to spend a little money, but we're not telling you to break the bank. We're not telling you to upgrade your rental property more than your property at home. No, but just, you can make those little updates that people are actually looking for, and it's updates that other people are looking for, not updates that you like to do. If you like accent walls on your property, that's great. Keep it at your property. Don't put it in your rental property.
It's true though. It's true,
if you like high-end appliances in your property, you know what? Buy those high-end appliances for your property. Get some decent appliances for the rental property, because one, you're not going to use them. It's going to be a tenant that's using them. But as long as they're good quality appliances, it's going to be used. And if you have to repair for some reason, you're not breaking the bank there too. So it doesn't have to be high dollar, because I know some people, they want to go all in and they want to put everything really, really nice in their rental property, and basically they're just spending their money. That and the exterior of the property. Obviously you want good curb appeal. The grass is there growing. If you have a little flower bed or something like that, bushes, things of that nature, great. But don't go all out in trying to create a Zen garden out there, because it's not going to be taken care of. Don't go all out and buying all these different types of trees and bushes to put in the backyard to make it an oasis. The tenants are not going to care about that. Most tenants, at least, are not going to care about that, and you're going to lose money. So,
well, it's about that balance too. Like I said, you have a low end that people will pay, and you have a high end that people will pay. So
and if you're listening to this, you're probably sounding like, damn, Pete, you're just throwing all this stuff out. Hey, we're going to be real with you. We're going to tell you exactly what you need to do to put a quality tenant in there. No, nothing more, nothing less. So if you don't like what we're telling you, I'm sorry. But
No, you're not.
No, I think people will pay.
but one thing, and letting you know, if you work with us, we're gonna tell you how it is.
Always.
So
Yeah.
you may not like it, and that's why we may be able to work with some people, and we may not be for everybody. So just like you will be selective on the person that's going to be managing your property, we're going to be selective on the owners that we actually manage for. So yeah, that's my
Were you
take.
gonna say something, Sean?
Oh, I was just going to say one thing to consider, and if upgrading everything is probably not going to be an option. Cost is what it is, and this is a rental property. You do want to get something back on your investment. You should probably consider, if you can't upgrade, at least when you're showing, you're putting out there for people to see the property. Consider doing some staging. Not a lot, just a little bit, and keep it tasteful. Sort of. I'm not saying to take away from the negatives, but sort of showing what you can do with what you have. And it goes a long way. And if there's like I said before, if there's damage to the property, you should probably take care of that before you try to show
Yeah.
it to clients.
Yeah.
That's all. That's just very important. That's the quickest way to run off a client from your property who's really interested in renting, is to be in a semi-shabby state when it says as is. That's all.
Right.
And in this market, I mean, we're seeing properties already flying off the shelf. Inventories is still low. And one property that I went to show, it had been on the market one day, and the agent told me she got 4 applications, and it was day 1, and the house had not even been shown yet, and she already received 4 apps. So it's, and when we went to see it, my client, she wanted it too, but she decided not to put in an application because she was like, I don't have time to wait for them to run my application. So it's a good time for sales and rentals right now. I mean,
Well, we just put that property we had on the market, and within 48 hours we have 4 applications.
Yeah.
Already approved. Someone's going to be moving in next week and stuff like that. So yeah, properties are not lasting long, especially properties that are priced correctly and that look good, which the one that we had was both. So
Yeah.
So we are sitting at like 22 minutes. Don't want to take up too much of your time or any more of your time, but just FYI, we are RE Solutions XV. That's our company, RE Solutions XV group under eXp Realty. So we do buying and selling as well. Belinda and Denise and Sean are pretty much in that category for buying and selling. We do property management, obviously, between Pompey and I. We're getting into the buying and selling as well. Our main focus is not property management right now, but we are obviously getting those selective owners that we can onboard and take care of their properties. If you want any information, you can look at the comments below or in our description below, and you'll see our phone number and website and stuff like that, so you can get information if you need any help on property management, on buying, selling, whatever. We can help you. We are going to be providing property owners that are thinking of putting their house on the rental market. We do have a landlord guide, not a landlord guide, what's it called again? A how to rent your property out guide that we can provide to you. And basically, it doesn't say anything about us managing your property. It just basically gives you the steps of what you should be doing if you wanted to put your house on the rental market on your own. So you have a step-by-step guide of what needs to be done and things that you're going to have to take care of while you're managing the property if you wanted to do a self-manage. If not, obviously, you can contact us. So, any last minute stuff?
Yes. So we want to remind everybody of Hero Day. Woo. So the month of May is Hero Mania for our Homes for Heroes.
Wow.
On May 3rd is the big kickoff. We will be running around the city giving out goodies to our heroes. So Pete has put a link on our website for you to sign up where you work for us to drop off goodies. Is on there. Just put it is self-explanatory. So please sign up so we can come out and spoil you. You don't have to go inside. We can drop off, but we need some people to sign up. We have a few already, so thank you for those who sign up. And then we are doing throughout the month of May, we are going to do Hero of the Week.
Nice.
So there's another link on the website where you can personally nominate someone that you know that is in one of those 5 hero groups.
And what are those groups again?
Teachers, military, veteran, and active,
Or
firefighters, EMT, and medical professionals. Okay, so
Police officers.
police officers, law enforcement, and so nominate. You're gonna have to write up a little thing saying why you're nominating them, and every single week we're gonna pick a hero of the week. We're lining up some nice gifts for them to give to them to say thank you, and so it's all on the website.
All right. Well, we've taken a lot of your time. We appreciate you watching. If you have any questions, like I said, put a comment below. We will answer them, and we will see you next week.
I was gonna say, if you made it through the whole thing, leave a comment below so we can shout out to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much for watching.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Next
Bye.
See
week.
you next week.